Docker Michael Johnson guilty of kebab shop assault. Fremantle Dockers footballer Michael Johnson has been fined $3,500 and granted a spent conviction after he was found guilty of assaulting a man who filmed him with his pants down in a Leederville kebab shop last year. Johnson, 33, stood trial in the Perth Magistrates Court last month charged with assault occasioning bodily harm to teacher Tim Bowen during an early morning fracas last November. He denied the assault, claiming he resorted to violence to defend his wife, who he felt was being harassed and assaulted. But Magistrate Elaine Campione today found Johnson guilty of the charge. The CCTV vision of the 3.45 m incident was played to the court during the one-day trial, which showed Johnson letting his pants fall to his ankles in front of other patrons. That action was filmed by Mr. Bowen on his mobile phone. The filming attracted the attention of Mr. Johnson's wife Dana, who began talking to Mr. Bowen and his two friends. The CCTV vision showed Mrs. Johnson snatching the phone and leaving the shop, followed by Mr. Bowen and friends. As one of the men put his hand on Mrs. Johnson's shoulder, which prosecutors said was a justifiable attempt to get her attention to retrieve the phone, Johnson stepped in, pushing one of the men before punching Mr. Bowen. Johnson said he had damaged his trousers that night when he jumped onto a bench and was just being silly when he let his pants fall to the floor. He said saw his wife leaving the shop being hassled and assaulted by two men, one of whom was Mr. Bowen. Johnson's lawyer Richard Udding presented two references to the court, including from Fremantle Dockers Football Club Chief Executive Steve Rosick, which he said spoke highly of Johnson and his leadership at the club. Mr. Udding urged the magistrate to grant Johnson a spent conviction so that the father of three could continue his work with various programs helping Indigenous children. Prosecutor Killian Stockdale called for a suspended term of imprisonment. He said Johnson showed little remorse. This was a sudden and violent assault on a victim who didn't anticipate it, in an entertainment area late at night, he said. In sentencing, Ms. Campione said Johnson's offending was obviously fueled by alcohol, adding he completely misjudged and overreacted to the situation. Ms. Campione said Johnson's blow would have caused significant pain to the victim and it was fortunate he did not suffer long-term injuries. She granted his request for a spent conviction, saying it was his first time offending in a violent manner and it was unlikely he would re-offend. It is in the community's interest that Johnson could carry on with his work outside football to better the paths of Indigenous children, Ms. Campione said. Sometimes goof people do bad things, she said. She ordered $1,000 of the $3,500 fine to be paid to the victim. Johnson was also ordered to pay $188 in costs. Outside court, Johnson said he was not proud of his actions. I'm not happy with my behavior at the time, but the finding is the right thing and I do apologize for my behavior, especially to the victim, he said. I'm not proud of my actions on the night, I've let down a lot of people, especially my teammates and my family, so I'm very sorry. Originally published as Docker guilty of kebab shop assault.